accepted. There we go. This way it's recorded for you guys. And then I'll go over my disclaimer and all that other good jazz. So bear with me while the internet decides to catch up with my voice. Okay, so there we go. We are started and live on YouTube, labeled and everything. For those of you guys who don't know me, just a little bit of background. If you're new to Super EZ and you've never traded before, welcome to the family. First off, it's a great group of people. There's a lot of kind, amazing, just growth-oriented, positive-minded people in this group. So I'm hoping that you're willing to stay the course. I can't promise if it's going to be 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years. I don't know what your learning curve is, but I do know that if you're willing to stay the course, it's definitely worth it. It can potentially change your life for a very, very long time. So, disclaimer, guys, this is a very high risk endeavor. Just like any other form of investment, there are no guarantees in anything, really. Not your job, not your paycheck. There's not a guarantee in getting a college degree and making your 6 figures. So, there are no guarantees. Trade accordingly. Remember, everything we discuss on this call is for educational purposes only and can and will not be used against me. If we discuss a trade idea, it is only an idea. I am not your attorney. You're your legal counsel, your accountant, your CPA, or your investment advisor of any kind. So just another person on the other end of this virtual world, kind of who's gotten technically proficient at trading. So that in theory should answer most of y'all's questions. Does anybody have any pertinent questions at all? Anybody? Oopsie. Going once. Okay, well, that was easy. Super duper easy. Okay, so what I'm going to first and foremost do is move everything out of my way here so you guys can kind of see what I'm seeing in terms of charting. And then provided Jeff's background noise is mostly maintained, hoping it is, we can go ahead and have him share his screen. So instead of clicking through pairs, I think you guys are all fully confident enough to click through whether it's this new system or the old system. That you can click through the pairs and see what's lining up. But it doesn't matter if you get an arrow here or here or here or here or here or here if you don't know what's happening in these areas of the chart. So understanding that there's zones and understanding that those zones have a value and they're not necessarily like a make or break and guarantee, but just that's the whole concept of trading in the zone. So if you haven't read that book by Mark Douglas, I highly recommend it. It's a wealth of information. And if there's any one book that will turn your trading around, it is that one. So study it like it's your trading Bible, like it's your career, as if it will pay you $250,000 a year. And I promise you, if you study it for that long, it will pay you $250,000 a year. Sorry about that, if not more. So without further ado, kind of simple, I've got GBP USD up here. Does anybody have a certain pair they wanted me to start with before I hand it over to Jeff? And I'm going to have him do this from start to finish. So anybody have a certain pair they want me to look at other than GBP USD?
No pressure, Jeff. No pressure.
No pressure. Okay. Well, I'm glad we're on the same page because I don't do pressure. I mean, I'm pretty, low key overall.
Sure.
No, seriously. No, for real, Derek. You already know. I already know. Okay, so no comments. Pretty simple. You guys have seen me do this a wealth of times, like a ton amount of times. It's very, very simple. All I'm going to do is you can decide depending on what time frame you're trading at. You can start this on the day chart. You can start it on the week or the month or the 4 hour even. Ultimately, it's up to you. Typically, I go to the 4 hour, but seeing as how we have international pandemic going on, I have been going a little higher, getting a bigger picture because we're making all-time highs and all-time lows, or extreme lows and extreme highs, if nothing else. So I'm going a little higher when I do this. If you want to have a consistent stream of income, once you have your pair naked chart, you can pick your time frame. Instead of having the candles up here, which we all know there's too many variables. There's so many variables that may say something along the lines of, well, do we count the wicks? And people say, I don't know. Or some people say yes, and some people say no. Some people say, okay, so we're not going to count the wicks when we mark up a chart. We're only going to count the tip of the body. Okay, so some people say, well, that's missing this part. Some people say that doesn't count either. Others would say you're only looking for the most previous, the most recent engulfing candle on the buyers and the selling side. So you'd be looking for the biggest bull candle to find your your bottom line and the most biggest bear candle, that's an engulfing candle, to find your top line. And with all these different kinds of charting, like it's not enough. There's nothing consistent. There's nothing duplicatable. So from person to person to person, you're going to get vastly different results. So something that I learned and I kind of picked up, Jeff, I really want you to come out, but you've got a lot of background noise. Is there any way you can go into another room, maybe?
Um,
Maybe. Maybe, baby. Okay, well, you're obviously muted now because we can tell there's no background noise. Um, but either way, so here's what I do from there. Instead of taking all that noise and all those what ifs and all those not guaranteed, too many variables, not consistent, literally all I do is I pick my time frame, refresh the chart to have something consistent and duplicatable. You can drag a horizontal line or array or use them kind of interchangeably, or you can use the line for the top and then the rays for the center. So first thing I'm going to do is get my vertical line and draw one at the most tip top part of the, I lied. I can't. Clearly I lied. Hold on. See, Derek had to pick on me. That's what happened. It's all Derek's fault. Now I have no control over my window again.
Hi, Jenny.
Hey, how are you?
All right. Hey, I have unexpected company tonight, and that's why it's a bit noisy. So I may just go back on mute and give somebody else a chance to show their charts and ask their questions, and I may just do it again the next time.
So I have to
Um,
relabel this video and say not with Jeff. Is that what you're telling me? You give me a
I do
home.
apologize.
I'll forgive you.
I,
Enjoy your company, okay? I know it's rare these days.
yes, unexpected, very unexpected.
Well, I hope that it's a positive surprise, and I hope you have a great time.
I will, but I'm right here listening.
All right, fair enough. Well, if he's not going to be on there and somebody else wants to share their chart, I'm all for it, kind of walking you through. If not, this doesn't take me long. It's not a really hard concept to teach. It just takes time to apply it and to learn it. So, what I do, like I said, to start from the top, I go to the line chart. It takes all the noise out of the candles and the what ifs and the variables in terms of what do we count, what do we not count, how do we find it, and what actually matters. So, go to the line chart, find the top, find the bottom. This is the day, right? And you can decide that that's your biggest part of your zone, right? Now that's pretty far from price in general, so we're going to need something massively closer. So let's find out how many pips that is if I can remember how to do this on TradingView. I mean, that's a whole almost 1,000 pips away. So huge zone. We don't need zones that big. Not super practical. We need something that's a lot closer to price. So while you're still on the day time frame, you can choose to grab your raise so you understand the difference between the supply and demand and the support and resistance. Supply and demand are the biggest parts, support and resistance are the smaller ones. And all I'm going to be doing is looking for the lots of touches. So you want 2 or more touches. The most recent ones are the most relevant. So here's one. They're kind of in that area. So these don't really line up per se in terms of a straight line. But if I start to look a little bit more left, you see this kind of area where it stopped here and here, kind of giving you that zone. You'll notice that that's a nice little zone if you were to draw it into a box. But I'm going to keep it like so, kind of in between those 2 lines. I'm going to grab another ray, do the same thing toward the bottom. This is the most relevant recent one. So I'm going to count that. Here's one touch. This doesn't really count as a touch because you see it's not pointy and peaky. But as we scroll over, there is a peak, peak, peak. So we've got plenty of touches to count that as an actual area of support and resistance. So from the day time frame, I think I have enough there. I'm going to go down to the 4-hour, and you'll notice that our huge supply and demand zones aren't even visible from here. I can choose to straighten this up based off of having a little closer image of price. And then, of course, what I can do is grab another ray. And if that's a little too close to price or I'm looking for more zones underneath or above, all I'm going to do is find the next zones, maybe one more toward the top. This one's okay. You've got a few touches. Pretty simple. And then again toward the bottom. That's a little bit too close for my taste, but there's nothing to really fortify this zone here. We have a peak here and a peak here, but that's a little too wide. So I'm going to delete that. There you go. Scroll a little bit more to the left, zoom out, see if there's anything else that's kind of giving us some room. Again, that's a pretty bit an interesting area because you have some rejection here all the way back to over here. So I suppose we'll have to count it as valid and leave it like so. So now as we go down to a smaller time frame, one more time, pretty simple, nothing complex, nothing too difficult. If price is where this is where current price is, you're literally in the center of this zone. So learning to trade that, okay, so if you got triple arrows and you're in the center of the zone, you shouldn't be looking for a trade here. You should be only counting your triple arrows or any of other indicators, regardless of what system you're using, whether it's a buy, a sell, a breakout, a counter trend trading system, or a trend trading system. Ultimately, the trades you take, in theory, should be in and around a marked zone. They can be zones like this or trend lines, but ultimately that's what you're looking for. The rejection of a certain trend line or zone, or the break of a certain trend line or zone. So that's legitimately it. You can decide to go to smaller time frames and get a little bit more, few more lines depending on how much you want to mark it up. Some people go all the way down to tiny time frames, and that's literally it. I mean, from start to finish, I think anybody can do this. Your children's children can do this. I'm pretty sure your 4-year-old can do this. Does anybody have any questions whatsoever? I know it looks super elementary, but it's probably one of the most important things y'all can do. Anybody at all? For all the people who say I'm new.
Hello,
Hey, how do I pronounce your name?
Bogdan.
Bogdan. Did I say
Bogdan. Yeah, it's
Bogdan?
Bogdan. Bogdan.
Bogdan.
Hi, Jenny.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. And yourself?
Very good, very good. It's a bit late here, but I'm ready to learn here this thing. Jenny, very quick question here. While we are just marking up the zones, will this work as well on MT4? And in the way that you are saying, like in the way we are here in the middle, the price is just in the middle of the two zones. That means if my Super EZ SR, let's see, the 4-hour or the daily dots would be just below the main zone, the big zone. That means my triple arrows will be more effective from there as a buy, not actually be in the middle, is it?
So you're going to get a lot of triple arrows. So if I understand your question, your triple
Yes.
arrows are always going to be better when they're hitting a bigger zone. So
Okay, yeah.
when you get a signal that it's like right here, for example, you're probably going to have a support and resistance line somewhere in here. You've got enough touches and rejection, and we pushed down, right?
Yeah.
So here's a little zone technically. But if you had already marked this up previously and found these areas of interest, you know that this isn't a super rejection zone. It's more of a recent one. It doesn't have a whole bunch of value. So when you get them at areas that are heavily, they're more important areas, you got them here. Where, for example, you have your daily dots. You got one
Yeah.
here. These signals are going to be the ones that have the highest value by far.
Right, yeah. No, it's just because I get caught twice on the triple arrows, and I was like, right, okay, I'll have to now do the right due diligence on which triple arrows will be more effective, whether they are closer to my daily dots, or even if I have weekly dots beside it, it's more point of reference between the zones, the bottom or the top. But yeah, that's I really got it. Yeah, 100%.
Is it 8897? Go ahead, Derek. Is that you?
Yeah, Bunkdom, where you located?
Derek.
Bunkdom,
Yes, hello. Oh,
where are you located?
I barely hear you. Northern Ireland, it's UK.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, so you are late. Okay,
It's
good.
1 a.m. Well, half one,
Okay, wonderful.
but we are in the lockdown, so not too many times still.
Definitely. Okay, wonderful. Welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Well, welcome. All right. Well,
Trading during Ramadan, huh?
Sorry,
Trading during Ramadan.
I not hold the things. I'm not.
I got you.
I'm a Orthodox, if you understand what that means. So
It's okay.
Thank you.
We just play and we pick on each other. We promise, no pun intended. We're pretty
no,
open
I'm
in
okay
this
with
group. Thank you. We all talk. Juice. I know your real name is Brandon, but your name is still telling us Juice. It's Brandon, right?
Yeah, I really don't know how to permanently change it. I change it every time I'm in here, but
All right, awesome. Well, maybe we can walk you through that. So if you want to share your charts and you want to mark something up, we can. I think that's a great idea. This looks so simple, but I promise you, when you learn this one thing, just one thing, learning how to see this with your own eyes, it'll be super beneficial. So you said you wanted to volunteer?
yeah,
All right, then I'll put your name on the video, deal?
okay.
Okay, I'm gonna stop my share. I'm gonna give it to you. So you have to hit share your screen at the bottom of that.
Okay.
For those of you who trade NAS, when it breaks this trend line, we got another good amount of pips to go down to the downside, just so y'all know. It's beautiful, quite beautiful.
Is it up there? Can you see mine?
Yes, sir. I can see your screen. Can everybody else see it okay?
North Carolina
Yeah,
blue.
we got it. Yeah, we can see it.
Okay,
we can see
awesome. Thank
All
you.
right. So first we would go to the day, right?
No. Well, here to just so we can kind of touch base with everybody on the call. If you guys are trading off the 1 minute and 5 minute, the day is not nearly as relevant, right? Unless you're hitting the very top or the very bottom of something. But if you're trading off the 4 hour, the day has a lot of weight. So ultimately, the time frames you start at are still up to you. I've lately been liking the day. I want the bigger picture because, well, we've had some bigger things going on in our world. But honestly, the 4 hour is what I did for most of my trading career, and it still works very, very well.
All right. So the first thing I would do, I would make not my trend line, horizontal line. I would put it right here,
Hmm.
and then I would make another one and put it down here.
Okay, well, if you scroll your mouse to the bottom of the screen, you're going to get a little circle that pops up. So hit that little semicircle, the 5th little key. Yep.
Right here.
Yep. So that will show you the most recent price, and it's something that's duplicatable, right? It refreshes your screen to a specific amount that you can come back to every time. It's a consistent thing rather than kind of like scrunching and scrolling ugly and pretty, zoomed in, zoomed out. It's something that's consistent and duplicatable because ultimately that's what we're going for. Do you like the grid lines on the background of your chart? Do you like
No,
those?
I just don't know how to take them off.
Okay. Let's right click on your chart. Go to settings. Go to, I haven't done this in a while, so don't laugh at me. Appearance. Oh, yeah, somebody else might be able to help him quicker than me, but is it status line? Go to appearance, I guess. Let's start with that. There you go. Horizontal grid lines on the top,
Yeah.
right there. I think you can click that to none. You can click the color to none. Nope. Anybody else remember how to do this? It's been a little minute. It's been a minute. Symbol events trading.
Just make them the same color as the background.
It looks like it is the same. Oh, there you go. Duh. I knew that. Thank you. See, we all help each other. See?
So make it no.
I think that's your background, the one next to black.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. You'll have to do those ones too. Yep. Sometimes there's an option, but I hadn't done it in a while. So
I appreciate
that's
that.
off. So now again, you're going to refresh by using that little circle on the bottom of your screen, something that's duplicatable that you can do every time. So now you're simply going to find the top and the bottom of what you see currently. So this is your single touch. You don't necessarily need 2 or more touches for this. You need the top and the bottom.
So I'll go here.
You got the
and
top.
then my bottom would probably be down here now, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So now that you've got that, you can use rays, you can use boxes, or however you're going to see this best. But now every other line you draw on this chart that's either a trend line of any kind that's diagonal, obviously, or a support and resistance line, it should have 2 or more touches. And when we say touches, we mean, let me get out my annotation tool. Annotation, there we go. So here's a touch, here's a touch, right? Lots of touches. Here's a touch, kind of making that zone. It could be a pointy touch and it can be kind of even a flatter touch and a flatter touch. but ultimately you need 2 or more touches to make the line.
Okay. And that would be my horizontal ray, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So right here. Would this be okay? Because it's like kind of out of it.
Yeah, well,
Does that still count?
you're still on the daily time frame too. So
Okay. Oh, so should I go down to the 4?
do you see any super relevant areas right here on the daily time frame?
This one is being touched a lot. It's kind of been going up, so I would say like this is probably like the only one that I really see.
Then let the
Maybe
market
this one.
I like that one too. I do. I like both of the 2 that you see. And remember, it's not just a line. It's like a zone, but we're just drawing the line to give us an idea. So that's good. And there's one that's really close to price right now that is above it, right? And you already got that one, so you're good.
Okay.
So now we're gonna go down to another time frame. How long have you been trading, Brandon?
I joined the group a month ago, but I just joined your group last week.
Okay. And do you like it so far? Well, how long have you been trading overall? Like this, you're pretty new if I'm not.
Yeah,
not
I've been
mistaken, right?
trading. I started trading in January. I done went through a couple accounts, so then I joined Super EZ. I've been on the same account, but I've been kind of like I've been 50-50, so I'm just trying to, you know.
Honing on your skills. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that you're not like loading your account with lots and lots of money,
Oh
are you?
no.
Don't make my mistake. I did that. I was very foolish and I was very wrong. So,
I tried your scalping strategy today. I took a nap. I worked third shift, so I took a nap, woke up, and I tried it. So far, I'm 3 for 4. So
that's not bad, right? It works pretty amazing, huh?
it's pretty easy actually. So
Well, I'm glad to hear that. A lot of people are doing really well. So just make sure you protect your profits. Those are fast movers.
yeah.
Okay, so let's say you're on the 4-hour now. Where do you see because you don't remember price is here. I'll annotate for you. Price is right here. So where do you see the next possible if we have to find the zone that's below current price and above it based off of the 4-hour time frame, where do you see some areas of interest?
If we go below, I mean, it's kind of like far apart from each other, but right here, maybe.
I like this one. It's not perfect, but I like that.
Okay.
Because again, if it breaks that, because if you've been in my class even just once, you know that if it breaks this level, I'm going down. That's
right
plenty
now?
of room. Yep. So I like that. No, the one that you drew, the first one you saw. I see
Okay.
what you see. So you're doing good.
No, I'm saying like if it breaks this, you could take it to like right here.
I would, yes.
Okay.
So if it breaks that area, that zone, so if we are able to bust below it, I'm still hoping for my retest, but then I know if we measure from point A, excuse my bad handwriting, to B, how many pips is that? A to B. This is the measure tool on this.
So
20. What is that? It's 28, right? I'm all counting pips weird after playing with so much indexes, so many indexes, spoken more accurately. I think it's 27 pips. So not bad. No, 92. No, that can't be 9262.
it's
89. So that's
274.
that's 274 pips. That's 274 full pips. So that's really good. That's definitely worth your time, right?
Mhm.
That's worth it. So if it breaks this zone, you know where it's going. And then if you have a baby zone right here, just a baby zone. See that area there, a little bit lower, right there. See it?
And so is that where like Uncle P says put like your first take profit? Like
Yes.
what breaks the zone?
Yeah. I don't know what Uncle P says per se, but yeah, you'd want to put it at your next area of interest. So
Okay.
whether you're using Fibonacci or zones or whatever it is you use, or even just pips or ATR, you're going to want to put your take profit in those areas.
Okay.
So we've got at least one level below current price. Remember, current price is here. We already have one level above it, but can we find maybe one more because price is kind of pointing up right now? So what's another area above it?
I would I want to say right here, but then I would say right here also.
Okay. Which
And
one do you
I
think
see it
more
touch
so?
1, 2, 3 times right here.
Okay.
But this one it's kind of flat, but you said we can use that, but it also has a sharp
Hard
one right here.
rejection. Yeah, that's a sharp rejection right there. Okay. I like them both. I like them both. So you you got the design.
Um, I'll probably go right. I'll probably put mine right here.
Okay.
Well, no, not really. Yeah, I'll probably put mine right here.
Fair enough. So same thing to the top side. If we break this zone, we want the retest. Is this enough pips from A to B? Is that enough pips to go for?
Um,
Hundred.
129.
Not bad. Is that worth your time?
Yes.
So how much would you make on that if you had one standard lot on it?
1,000, 1,200,
Mhm.
1,300.
Yeah, not bad, right?
That's good actually.
That's pretty good. Fair enough. Okay, so now that we've kind of got our little zones, let me clear all my dribbles and doodles and all that good stuff. Clear all mine. We can see prices pointing where?
Up.
Okay, so if we were to set an alert or what we were looking for, we would be looking for it to break out to the top side in terms of where the current amount of the line chart is going. No drama, no noise, no candlesticks, no backstory, no nothing. Kind of takes all the fear and emotion out of it. But if you were to, again, let's use that little circle on the bottom part of your screen. If you were to draw a trend line based off of the current time frame you're currently on, well, you don't have it because it's not, you haven't moved the chart at all. You've been really steady, way more steady than I am on my calls. So good job on you. Super steady. You don't have to refresh it. If you got to draw a trend line, where would you draw a trend line on this?
To where price is right now.
Yeah. So where is price going in terms of the big picture from left to right? Where is price going?
Up. Well, it's going down, so I'll probably draw my trend line up here.
All right. So let's go ahead and make a trend line. Remember, you need 2 or more touches. 1, 2, run it through. That's one of those silly sayings that just kind of help a little bit.
Right here. That's fine.
Scoot it a little closer to price. We want it to kind of touch.
This one.
No, hold on, let me get my annotation. Price, 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 price.
Okay.
There you go. So you kind of on price pretty reasonably well, right? So you've got 1 touch, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, not 7. You have 6 touches. There's some weird theory out there, like so many other theories that say you'll only get 8 bounces off of a channel before it breaks. You'll only get 8 touches off of a trend line before it breaks. It's one of those random facts that may or may not be useful if you want to believe in all those weird theories. So there's some information for you. But what do you see happen? You're definitely going in a downward market, but we did what? So
It-
drop your trend line.
It broke the trend.
So impulse. What's this?
A retest.
Correction. What should we see next?
It's takeoff.
In theory, right?
Yes.
But when would we be looking for that confirmation? We'd still want to have, we need to know that it's not going to make any lower lows, right? And we're not going to predict the market. Our job is never to decide and tell the market what to do, what it's going to do. We are way too small and way too much of a nobody to decide the entire country of, Great Britain and the entire country of Australia. We get to decide what their currencies are going to do for the day because we said so. We just have a good idea of if these things happen, where it's going to go. So according to structure, you had a perfectly downtrending market. This is your break, your retest. You'd be looking for it to go up.
So and like okay, so my question is like when it breaks this, am I looking for a closed candle here, or even if I'm using a line graph, like when will I know it's okay to enter the trade?
Well, that's a whole nother level of topic. So we've got our directions, we've got our zones, we've got at least a few zones, and these could be our targets or our areas of interest. We can keep drawing more targets as price moves up. We can draw more and more targets. So let's say we're in this trade and we're just looking for either re-entries or more targets to get an idea of where it's going to, for example. How do you know when to get in? You've got a multitude of choices. You're first and foremost, people try to time the bottom. I vote that's a big no. Okay.
Okay.
Don't do that, because you and me and the guy next door are not so mighty powerful that we get to know for sure that the price is going to turn around here. I don't care what the RSI, the indicator, the triple arrow, or anything else tells you. We don't get to decide that. What
Okay.
you really want to see always is the impulse and a correction. So now that we're here, in terms of candles confirmations, you can choose to take the safest bet. So something on the lines of the break of the 50, right?
Okay.
So now that we know the direction of the market, wait for price to break the 50 EMA, right?
Okay.
You can wait until you have confirmation on our scalping strategy. That scalping strategy works on every time frame. So
Oh,
it's
okay. Okay.
not bad, right?
Yeah.
And it gives you reentries too. So you can just keep taking every reentry for a buy all the way up.
So I can use. I think I asked this before, but sorry if I'm being repetitive. But
That's okay.
I can use the scalping strategy on the 4 hour as
Yes,
far
you
as
can.
my entries and stuff.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And you can use them in conjunction with the triple arrows. You can use them in conjunction with everything you've learned thus far. The
Okay.
idea is to get an accumulative amount of knowledge. So you build on each other, right? We don't start off as a master of anything. We start off in, kindergarten learning what a number is, and then we get to, add it and subtract it and multiply it. And then Sally has 9 apples, and then we're doing calculus. So it's levels, and we get to accumulate all that knowledge and then make an educated decision. That's really all you're doing. So
Yeah.
not that fancy and not that hard.
Okay.
Makes sense. Anybody have any questions about what he just did? He found the direction of the market, good ideas of where to take it. And even let's say we don't get the upside. Let's say that this was just the retracement of this big down move. That could also be the case. He also knows that if we break this low, we know we can take it for more downside. If we break this low, we know we can take it for more downside. So we don't have to know what the market's doing. We just need to know how to trade it when it goes there. That's all. We don't have to know. We don't need to be a psychic. We don't have to know everything. We just have to be able to go with it where it goes and be a really good.
I feel like I owe you something because, like, just now, like everything just connected for me. I don't know why, but it just felt like everything just made sense.
Well, that's, you don't owe me anything, but I
Send
see.
cash to Derek Casaneris.
Okay, Derek's birthday is, when's Derek's birthday? He said so. But that's it, guys. That's all we're doing. Now change it to the candles. Let's get an idea of where your lines landed on the candles. It's not going to be exactly what you think. You guys are going to see that the reason why we do it on the line chart is we don't have to guess the wicks. We don't have to guess the bodies. We don't have to know all the stuff we don't know because there is no valid answer. So this just gives you nice little zones of kind of an area of interest. That's all. Super,
Jenny, just
super awesome.
hello. Can I stop
Yes.
you a second, please?
Yes, please.
Just a very quick question here. So what you're seeing that the very bottom where actually the green candle start to pop up. So actually that bottom of it, if the direction of the trend is going slightly lower back again, wouldn't respect that lower low here. More likely doesn't respect it.
So if the candle decides to break this zone, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, if it's going down, that means it won't respect the very bottom again as well. We'll go just through.
Well, no. So let's have an analogy. We don't know what we don't know. Our job is never
Yeah.
to predict, it's to go where it goes. So let's assume we get some candles and then we get a bigger candle here. So this needs to be a body candle. Excuse my drawing. I'm not an artist.
That's okay. All right.
We get this. Hopefully we get a retest. We won't always get a retest, but we're hoping so. Our next target from there is going to be to respect this zone. We already said that was like 200 and some odd pips, right? So that's our next target. But the same theory, the same principle is if we break this zone, so let's say we get all these candles, okay? I don't have a lot of room to work over here. But again, let's say we get a body closed down here, right? What are we waiting for? We have now made an official lower low. We are still trending in a downward market. Hopefully we get the retest. If not, we know that this has got another level to go. That's literally all we're doing. We're going with price where it goes. The zones only help us know where pullbacks might come up. They know help us where reversals might come or confirmations of continuations. So again, I'm going to repeat that, confirmations of continuations. So if this is moving down and we broke this zone, okay,
Yeah.
we came back up, retested, broke back down. We got a wick below this zone, but what do? We retested and now we're coming back down. So this could be just an extra large retest before it continues down. Or this
Oh,
could be
yes,
the
yes,
break
yes.
of this trend line, in which case we get to go, excuse my artistry, guys.
No, no,
But
no.
that's it.
Cool. 100%. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Just learning to see it in that open-minded, there's no indicator. There's no person on the other end of a Zoom call. There's no guru on the internet. There's no signal channel or paid for service that gets to tell you for sure, no matter how many times we're right, including me, and I'm right pretty often, but none of us get to decide this is definitely doing this or this is definitely doing this. Our job is just to understand that when conditions are met, we go with it. When conditions are
Yeah.
met, we're going with. That's all.
Try actually to not predict the future, or rather just work with what you got in front of you. Is it that the way, roughly?
I think I understand what you said. So you're saying we don't predict for the future. We work with what's actually happening, right?
Yes, that's
Yes.
the. Yeah. Okay. 100%. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's
That's all.
been like one of my biggest problems. I keep trying to tell people what to do, and I realize that it don't work like that.
Can I be a little funny and say, who do you think you are?
Exactly. That's how I put it to myself, and who I think I am. But
Well, I'm just saying, like, I do the same. I've done it. Lord knows, I think everybody on this call, if they're being even a little honest, they've done it. We've all decided that because so and so said on such and such video on such and such website that if we see these vectors, then price has to turn around. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to do anything. Price doesn't have to do a darn thing. These are entire country currencies. I mean, the value of the dollar that they spend on everything from mattresses to McDonald's and like everything in between. So we do not have any say of what these currencies do. We can make an educated guess and we can use technical analysis for that, or we can use fundamental like news information for that. But all we're doing is making a guess. And our guess should not be what dictates our decision. Our guess should be I think this is what's going to happen. But if not, I'm prepared to ride this train up and I'm prepared to ride it down, maybe, because I'm going wherever it's going and I don't get to decide.
right.
And that's
Hey,
all.
Jenny,
Hey, Waddy,
can I help Juice for 5 seconds?
please do. I'm gonna get some tea. No, go ahead. Come on out, Derek.
Juice, you want to learn how to change your name?
Yes, I do actually.
Go to Telegram. You got Telegram up
Yeah.
on the computer.
Hmm.
At the very top left, you see those lines. It's like 4 parallel lines. Top left-hand corner.
I got dotted lines. I'm on a Mac. I don't know if that's.
Oh, Mac, I'll throw it out the window, man.
Oh man.
Don't
It
listen
may work
to
on there.
him.
I'm not sure, but on the PC, when you click on that, click on the 4 dotted lines. What happens?
It says click on date, share media info, unmute, archive, schedule messages, clear chat, and leave group.
Oh man.
Wait a minute, I'm on a Mac. Hey, baby, guess what? Since us Mac people got to stick together, Derek can't be part of this conversation. Let's talk about our
Oh, ouch! Oh,
fancy
ouch.
computers, right?
Oh,
If,
ouch.
you know I love you. But so if we click on the Telegram at the very top of our fancy dancy Mac has the Apple symbol because you know they have to trademark their stuff. They determine their own value here. Right next to that, you're gonna get something that says Telegram, light, file, edit, window. I'm pretty sure if you go to preferences, let's see, go to preferences. So click on the Telegram and then click on preferences. I can
Okay.
put up a different picture. I can edit my name and be like P Diddy or, Miss
Well,
Pips or,
it says my real name on the Telegram.
okay. I thought so, but I was just going to let Derek go with it. So on Zoom.
Well, see, when you do it to a PC, it changes.
So wait a minute. Nuh-uh. That's not the truth. Is it the truth?
How you think
I'm
I
on
got
Derek's
Coco
side.
up there?
That's it. I don't blame any of you guys. Okay, so on Zoom. Okay, on Zoom, same thing. So if you're on your Zoom, the top left, you should get something that comes up that says Zoom. You can go to, I'm doing this with you, so I could be wrong. We're just playing together. General, video, audio, screen share, chat, virtual. Well, I'm going to be here a minute, so.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was Zoom. I apologize.
No, it's okay. We're picking on you. Just having some fun. Oh, here you go. Edit my profile. So under profile, you can go to edit your profile. And then you can change like your name and all the other good stuff. But mine is hooked to my Gmail account, so I can't even do that. Are you still there or did I lose you?
No, I'm here. I'm just
Okay.
looking for my profile. I see general video, audio, share screen.
Huh. Well, I'm not making a video on Zoom. I'm sorry.
No, he's fine. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I've made so many videos at this point, and I'm not even all that good at Zoom, so I probably shouldn't make a video on Zoom. We'll let Derek do that on an HP computer. Okay.
Oh, good, Derek.
HP stands for high power.
Or hot mess. Hot.
Hot poo poo, huh?
I was really going somewhere else in my mind, but I'm really glad that it come out that way.
And my virgin ears would have burnt.
Your virgin ears. Yeah, that's the truth. Your virgin ears all the way, Derek. Okay, guys, does anybody have any major problems on this concept? Does anybody have any questions? We've got Brandon, Mr. Juice Brandon on here. This is a very simple thing, but if you take your hour, I mean, it shouldn't take you more than an hour, once a week even, you can do it on Friday night, Saturday morning. This can be your Saturday afternoon. I check my charts after my workout or my Zumba. I mark up my charts, and then you have a whole, 18, well, let's say 36-hour period before you even start trading. So you see everything you see, you close your eyes and your ears and your thought process to it for a good day and a half. And by the time you come back Monday morning, you'll see how accurate this stuff was. You can even go as far as, let's get out this tool right here. Sorry, it's kind of messy. Yeah. Yep. Click on long position. Well, how many people think this is going to go long? How many people think this is going to go short?
I'm gonna say long, just for the gamble.
I'm gonna
Okay.
go long too.
I think long. Okay, so you got a couple longs on here. So you
short,
have
short term long and then short.
We're gonna stick with long and make him not lose his mind for a second. So drop the long symbol on here. So when you went to that little doohickey over there, you click on that. Go to long, click on it, and then literally just drop it right here.
Oh, just click it.
Yes, and then yes. Do you have to drag it? Hold on.
Yeah, I think I gotta drag it.
If I go to long, and then like you click on the chart, it'll show up. There you go. So you see how this is green, this is red. Now you can edit this so you can move your stop loss up to about here. Ta-da. A little lower because you need to give it room, right? Target is fine. That's what, almost a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. I would move my target down just a smidge. You want it below the zone and when you're picking a target, and extra room when you're picking a stop loss, below the room when you're picking a target for take profit.
Okay.
And now you can make it a little skinnier. So like make it end right here. Like, so drag this little box to the left, to the left, to the left, like a Beyonce song. There you go. Sweet, sweet. So you can see if this would play out. So let's say you do make a quote unquote prediction. You've already got your lines on here. You already saw that, okay, if we broke out, we know we'd be looking for the sell. If we broke out, we're looking for the buy. But you can decide that, hey, this is what I was seeing when I checked on this with clear mind on, let's say, if you had a great week, Friday night would be great. But if you took a loss this week, Friday night is not good. So you have to kind of pick and choose your day of the weekend that you want to do this. It shouldn't take more than an hour. And as you get more proficient, it'll take less. But you can drag and drop this box on every single pair. On pairs that you don't like it, because it's kind of like trading in this ugly box where you don't get a real clear picture, you can write on there no trade, right? And go to the next one. And this will automatically save on every chart because it's web-based. So when you come back the following week, you'll get to see how it played out. So let's say you did draw a box, and this isn't a good example, granted, so bear with me, and you wrote on here no trade, you would see 5 or 6 days later that it consistently played in that area before it did break out, and you saved yourself some losses. In stuff like this, you'll see that, hey, it did break above, so you got your alert and you won. Or you'll see that, hey, it busted below, so if you had followed your rules to wait for it to break that, it also came and retested, and then you got your sell. Pretty simple. It's an amazing tool. Like if you want to be a trader and want to pay your bills with trading, y'all all need to have a trading view account of some kind. It doesn't have to be a paid for one. They've got plenty of free ones. No, I don't have a referral link for this. Maybe somebody else does, and I'll let them use it if they do. At least in my group, they have my authority to do so. But whoever has one, by all means, you definitely should have at least a free account for this. It's the tool you need to learn how to chart. It's the tool you need to learn how to trade. So anybody at all got any questions, comments, concerns, pairs? I think that Derek is still, what is this Dartmouth stuff? Is this stuff about a Mac?
No, it just shows them how to change his name in Zoom.
Oh, okay. I'm like, are you trying to clown on me saying Dartmouth?
The university.
Uh-huh. I was just asking. So holding that grid. Hey, how are you?
I have a question. I'm looking at the Euro odd pair, and I'm seeing it's kind of similar to the GBP odd pair. So what, like the markup for it be remotely close to what the pair you have here on Juice's screen?
Hey, Brandon, can we mark up one more chart together, you and me? Or how about you and Richard? So let's pull up Euro odd. So instead of Jenny deciding, or the guy next door, right? Let's take a look at what this is doing. At first glance, let's go to the day chart. This is a massive impulse. I mean, these are full body candles, just so we're on the same page. That's a push. So we're gonna go to the day chart. We're gonna go to the bottom of the screen. There's not much here, so, but it's okay. We're gonna find the top, we're gonna find the bottom. Same way we did before. Take all the noise out, take all the second guessing and the emotional drama out of it, so we don't have to worry and question and fear and all that other stuff. There you go.
So is the line chart a little more accurate marking up versus the actual candles?
No.
Oh, okay.
And I say no very point blank because it's absolutely not. But the reason it is consistent, and consistency is accurate.
Oh, okay.
Duplicatable is accurate. So
Okay.
like I can explain once we go back to candles, but I'm going to let him keep going. So he's got his major zones on the day one. Do you see any other major zones on the day one, or a little bit too close to price? We want to go down to the 4 hour.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll show you what I mean in a second, Richard.
Okay.
I think it's better, but that's a personal opinion. And
Okay.
the reason why I think it's better is because there's so many variables. You have wicks, you have bodies, you have engulfing candles, you have consolidation, you have ascending channels, descending channels, you have vectoring, you have gaps. So you have a lot of things going on with the candles that you're not going to have to second guess, deal with, or rethink on a line chart.
Right. It looks more cleaner actually on the line chart than with the candles.
I'll show you what I would do. I'll have him do it. I'll show you exactly what I would do. But I'm going to let him mark it up and him do him by himself. And then what I would do literally is the most important zones, instead of keeping it a straight line, I kind of draw it into a box, which would make it more accurate than both lines and candles put together. Because remember, we're not looking at a specific price point unless we're trading on the 1 minute or the 5 minute. We're looking at a price box, which can be anywhere from 10 pips to 100 pips, depending on what currency it is.
I got a question.
Uh-huh.
Like, there's no, you know how you said if it passes the zone, would this be the zone that if it passes, we'll take it up?
Okay, so if you don't like it, if you don't think you see something that's solid enough, what are some things? Because look, here's price. Do we have anything in a reasonable distance? How many pips is it from? Well, that probably looks crooked on your screen, but it's in the right spot on mine. So how many pips is it from where price currently is to the top, where price currently is to the bottom? Is that too big of a zone?
It's 291 pips.
That's too rich for my blood, especially for how long it takes. That takes too long.
300 pips.
So I don't want a 300 pip zone. So I would probably have to go down to the
1 hour.
Yes, sir. Let's see what we got. There you go. Got something a little bit more clear, at least a little bit, something to work with.
So I'll put one here, maybe.
Okay, I like it. Do you like it?
Yeah, it's touching like 3 times, 4 times actually, almost.
Okay.
And then probably right here.
I like that. Yep.
Should I move this all the way over here, or can I keep it right here?
You can keep it where you want, just be consistent. So when you make up your mind, stick with it. I mean, that's kind of the biggest thing. This way, when you go to back test, you know how you did it and what you saw based off of where price actually was at that time. That when you do this week after week, you'll understand the value of it being duplicatable. You're
Okay.
consistent. If you're doing a fly by night thing every week, it doesn't matter if even if you made 6 figures this week, if you can't redo that next week, you pretty much bought a nice car and that's it. You did not change your life. You did not find financial freedom. You had an accident and probably blew it, and that was it.
So you can keep doing it over and over again.
Yep. Okay, so price is right there. You've got much more reasonable zone. So same thing. Let's go back to the 4 hour. We like these zones pretty well.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. What
I
I was
have a quick question, if you don't mind.
Yes, go ahead. Come on out.
Would you typically use these same time frames for the like US 30 and SPX and NIS, or would you go lower to mark up your charts?
Oh, I want way closer zones on NAS and
Right.
US 30. You want the closest. So real quick, I'm going to have you, Brandon, go back down to that 1 hour time frame so I can show Richard what I was going to show him there. So in areas like this, and I'm gonna scribble. It's not gonna be pretty, but just here's what I would do. I would draw a box kind of a thing based off of where these zones are. So this whole box is an area of interest. Not this one, but then like here to here, that's a whole box. This is a box worth of, a zone, if you will. So that's a whole big zone across there. Not for the top and not for the bottom, but for all those areas of interest in between, the zones in between, that's what I'm going to do.
You want me to put a box over there?
Sure, you can. Yep.
So you said right here?
Mm-hmm. There you go. And you can even stretch that out, and there's a lot of cool ways to do it, but now you kind of see a bigger zone versus just hey, if it hits this line, then we know. This isn't a line. This is like an area. It's a bigger picture than an exact price point. The only people who believe in exact price points are quarters theory people, and that is numerology at its finest. It's great learning, but it's like when you look for a pink car, you're going to see a lot of pink cars kind of feeling is what I get from that theory. So I don't get a lot of factual basis off of that.
Oh yeah, like cracks in the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
So with the boxes or the box, are you saying you're waiting until it breaks out of a box either way?
Yes. So same concept. So now that we have these little zones, just to give you an idea, you don't have to keep the boxes, but you can. Let's go back to the 4 hour chart. Let's see where price is going. That's an impulse move to the upside. That's not a maybe baby. That's a powerful candle.
Hi, Jenny. I have a question.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I had a quick question on the 1 hour, real quick. I don't know if you don't mind.
Sorry, Brandon, but welcome to my world. Go back down to the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I see this area, the zone. If you look on the downtrend, on the higher up, I see it seems like a zone. Why didn't you mark up that one as a zone?
Can you draw it for me or show me where or what? This area?
Yeah, no, on the downtrend, all the way to the right, all the way to the right, the downtrend, the recent downtrend. Yeah, all like keep going up to the peak, to the top, all the way to the top. Yeah, like around here, I see a bunch of zones. Like, why didn't we mark up these zones?
Because that price, that's 300 pips away from price currently. So it's not that important to me at this very moment.
Okay, but if price was closer to it, you would consider it? If you would
Yes.
consider this as a zone? Okay.
Yes. Well, listen, I'll do this one more time after Brandon's done sharing his screen, and I'll try to keep it super short, and I'll let you guys pick one more pair. But it's you need to keep it as clean as possible near price, right? There's no sense in knowing that there's great support and resistance 9,000 pips away. That doesn't have any value, right? What does that matter to us? That's like saying, your the love of your life is waiting in Italy right now, but you're stuck in Florida, so that doesn't do you any good. Just saying, right? You're
Hey,
stuck
hey,
where you're
hey.
at. Sorry, guys, that was a little real example, but come on, we've all felt that way. So we are, if we're here, we don't care what's happening here. What we care about is every zone in between. And the most important zone are the ones nearest price. Always, always, always. The most important zones aren't necessarily the most powerful or the ones on the day time frame or the ones that have monthly, protection and monthly uh, evidence. That doesn't matter. What matters most is whatever zone is closest to where price is at this very second. We care about what's in front of us. When you're driving in a car from California to Florida, you don't care about the hazard that there might be an accident right now in Louisiana while you're still in Nevada, right? You have to look at what's in front of you. So that's it. I don't know a better example. Some people are really great at that, but those are the best examples I've got. Just what's in front of you currently, which is here.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay.
But I'll show you one more time.
Quick question. So,
Go ahead.
yeah, sorry, yeah, I know you had a question. Okay, so that zone, so as soon as price passed the zone and retested again, that would be an entry,
Yes,
or
always. Or if it rejects it.
if it rejects it and now it would be a sell.
A lot of people trade that way, yes. That it's a valid
Okay.
trading style. So especially when it's with the trend, and I'll give you an example of that here in just a moment. But I'm going to go to the 4 hour real quick and let Brandon finish up what he's doing here.
I just had a quick question before we.
Go.
Could I make another box right here, or it would be too close?
You have to do what you see. So I should not tell you that. And if you want, I'll mark up the same chart to see the difference in how I would do it.
Okay.
But I don't want to.
Thinking like maybe I would do it like this.
That's a big zone, don't you think?
Oh yeah, I didn't even count the pips. Yeah.
I'd probably put something right here. See where I turn that off. So you have to be careful because your eyes start playing tricks on you. We're all human.
All right.
But something right here I would consider to be a zone. Something right here I would consider to be a zone. I don't think it's drawing straight for you guys again. I think it's a little crooked, but
Okay. Oh, I see.
all right, go ahead and go to the 4 hour real fast. So to answer Richard's question, so remember, let's use that circle button down here to the bottom of your screen. Ta-da. So it's duplicatable, it's consistent. What is this market currently doing?
It's going down.
For sure. So let's get a trend line going. Remember, it's not going to be perfect. It's okay. Just keep it dropping. 1, 2, run it through. Lots and lots and lots and lots. I'd bring it a little closer to these prices, you know.
I was about to say,
There you go. I like it. Drop. There you go. So what do we see?
yeah, it is like the same thing as the GBPR.
We had a breakout.
Yeah.
We broke the downtrend. Remember, so that's technically 1, 2, maybe 3, 4-ish, 5, 6-ish. We don't know for sure without seeing the candles, but maybe 6-ish trend touches, right? And then we broke through. This is a retest. That's what you're seeing. That's what we're seeing. So if we break this zone where you drew that box, we are only looking for buys. How many buys? Well, it depends. So we might only get that kind of Elliott wave theory where it's an ABC correction pattern, right? So that would mean we'd only get about yay much, and that's it. And then it can continue to the downside. Or this can be an actual reversal where it continuously makes higher highs over and over again. But we don't, again, get to decide that. We just get to trade it when it happens. So
Right.
if it breaks this zone, and I'll go draw up this chart now myself with you guys. If it breaks that, we're going to buy again. If it breaks the next one, we're going to buy again. If it breaks this one, we're going to buy again. Or we have the option of moving our stop loss up, keep holding. Move our stop loss up, keep holding. Move our stop loss up, trim some profit, keep holding. So there's a lot of different ways to see this and to do this, but that's kind of the big picture. And because we don't get to decide direction, we don't get to predict, we don't get to tell it what to do. We are not the bosses of other people or markets. So this could very easily decide, I don't like you, I'm going down. I want to go to the place that's hot. I was trying to think of how not to say that. So we could get a very nice, pretty break. And there you go. That is definitely enough to make it worth trading.
That's why I have my saying,
What you're saying, Derek.
ride the wave.
Amen. It's a good saying. See, I like it. Clearly, I like it. All
Can I
right.
change this again?
Okay, Kendrick, go ahead. Yep, please do.
So it did touch. Okay.
Lots of touches. Euro JPY next. Okay, well, Eric requested Euro JPY next, so I'm gonna do Euro JPY one more time, and then I'm getting off of you. Deal? Because I stay on these calls a long time in the morning. So, but first, Brandon, do you have any questions for me? Do you understand what you're seeing?
You just
How
made
you're
it
seeing it?
made it perfectly clear to me. I appreciate it, everything you do.
Oh, awesome. Well, I'm glad that you're on here, and I wish you all the best of luck. And thank you for being willing to be brave and verbal and open. That's not easy for a lot of people. So, way to go.
Thank
you. You are welcome.
Jenny,
By
Yep.
the way, we have President Trump on here, I noticed.
Nuh-uh. Seriously.
just
Look.
very last question on this chart while it's still on.
Okay, go ahead.
What would be the very smallest time frame to use the markups? Probably you said earlier, but I didn't.
You could do this on the 1 minute, technically. If you're scalping indexes or something that moves massively fast, you could do this on any time frame.
No, but would be more for swing trading, roughly. I mean, not really lower, like
The 4
scalping
hour.
wise, just in
The
case
4
if you have
hour.
a day job to get prepared for that. So imagine you wouldn't see the charts probably every 4 hours or probably just kind of daily, so just
The 4 hour. The 4 hour on the daily is totally fine.
But would you go for the 1 hour as well to mark it up, or just to?
I would
have
only
an
go down to the
idea?
1 hour if I couldn't find a clear zone on the 4. So sometimes you're going to get that really weird, everything's falling. You have no zones. You've got nothing to work with. So you have to keep going down until you find something to work with. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
when I would kind of keep going down, and or vice versa. I would keep going up if necessary.
Right, 100%.
That was kind of my question. So for US 30, you would use the 1 minute as far as markup?
And I don't really think like it's viable to chart on the 1 minute. I don't think it'd be worth your time to do so on the 1 minute. Like for you and me, between you and me, if we're gonna do it, I'd say let's stick to the 5 and 15.
Okay.
I mean, you're gonna have a lot more results doing it that way. But if you're in the We the People group, you already have that indicator that does a lot of this for you, but knowing how to do it is still essential and still important. So that indicator does all this. So all of it by itself.
Could I take this down to like, let's say like the 15 and 5 and scalp this?
Yes.
Okay.
You can scalp the rejections off of the trend line.
Okay.
You can scalp. So when it comes back up and retest, you can take those as
Okay.
re-entries over and over again. You can take this break. Now, granted, that's a counter trend trade. That's it doesn't make it, there is no like super good and super bad and super, this is right and this is wrong. If you comprehend market movement, everything has some right and everything has some wrong. So as long as you know what you're doing and why you're doing it. So again, it goes back down to, does it follow rules? Is it duplicatable? Because if you win, even again, if you win $1 million this week, it means absolutely nothing if you can't keep that $1 million next week.
Okay.
It means nothing to you.
Appreciate it.
You are welcome. Okay, I'm going to my chart. We're going to go to Euro JPY. Maybe. Ta-da. So we're going to go here real quick and then we're done. And you guys will see how fast this is. Euro JPY. I'm going to go to Oanda because I feel like it's closest to actual price. So like I said, we're going to start at the day time frame. I'm going to follow my own rules. I'm going to use that little circle in the bottom, something that's duplicatable and consistent. I'm going to get the right tool this time. The highest high on the chart is all the way back here. The lowest low on the chart is, well, that's not good. It's current price. So since it's current price, that means we don't have a lower zone to go off of, do we? We have to go to a higher time frame, which on a higher time frame, we're kind of hitting that really important zone, something to think about. But even on the weekly time frame, we have 1 point here, just a baby point. Our next zone, I'm going to do something a little different this time, is I'm going to literally make the box because it's such an odd thing. And this is a weekly time frame. I want the box. I want to see the whole area because it's too drama. Oh, let it go. There we go.
Hey, Jenny, quick question. What account size would that be? Like, cause for instance, if someone wanted to swing trade and they maybe had like a small account, maybe $200-300, but on maybe like a 0.01 or 0.02 lot size, and they was it took them maybe like, let's say 10 days for a trade to play out for them to take profit, but it's they maybe made like $10 or $12. Like, would that be worth it to hold that trade for 2 weeks for the $12? Or
For the purpose of compounding and my belief in the industry, I'm going to tell you yes.
okay,
Now, on a realistic note, aside from COVID-19, you could probably make more money driving for Uber. But I have personally turned a $47 account into an insane amount of money using the very systems you guys have access to, compounding with the same spreadsheet that I put in all those groups. I did that using the weekly compounding sheet. So the first few weeks feel like you're not doing anything. I think it's for almost a solid month. It feels like counterproductive, like it's going to take too long. But
right.
if you're willing to be patient, $12 compounded, I don't care how much $12 equals because it's the amount of pips. Those, let's say 100 pips compounded the following week, in 12 weeks, can you give me anywhere else you're going to make 6 figures?
Other than the lottery, no. But
Okay.
the odds of that are
Less.
1 to 9.
So like let's go from a really realistic perspective. So if I told you you could make 6 figures in the next month using my scalping strategy, if you followed some rules and got out of your head and got out of your feels, controlled your stinking emotions and just listened. If I told you you could do that this month, like almost guaranteed just listening. Okay. Do you have anywhere else in the world? I don't care if it's building a brand, buying a McDonald's corporation, joining an MLM, selling houses. I mean, you have to have a ton of people in your pipeline for that. But do you have any other way currently to make 6 figures in the next 30 days? Yes or no?
No. Realistically, no.
Okay, so what if you fail that by 90%? What if you can't hit that mark and you mess it up 90% and you can only come out of that with 10,000? What if that's the best you can do? Do you have any other way to make $10,000 in the next 30 days?
Realistically, no.
Okay, what if it took you a little longer because it's just you had no idea how much emotional baggage you had to deal with and you didn't know how much you don't listen? So it took you 3 months. Do you have anywhere else in the world that you can, honest to God, make 10 grand in the next 3 months for an hour or two a day working from home?
Nope.
Okay. Then make your decision. Like if you're going to be, if you can honestly do that. So I don't care if it starts with $12 or if it starts with 12,000 or some of y'all 120,000, as long as you know what you're doing and you have the staying power, right? To stay the course. Okay. Then it's worth it. It's totally worth it. Even if you fail by 90%, you still have a lot of potential to go up, a ton of potential. So,
Okay.
sorry, that was my soap.
And that's hard to beat.
It is. I'm telling you, it is. I've built other businesses. It's hard. It's very hard. So real quick, Euro JPY, we don't have a bottom. We had to pick one. So this is not ideal. It's not perfect, but neither is life. Neither are you, neither am I. So kind of looking at just where price is, I'm going to have to scrunch this up because we don't have anywhere. This is making record, well, not record lows, but current time lows. Let me be super specific. I've got nothing. I've got no zone that I can pick in the anywhere future. I mean, there's a small chance I can pick a little line here. And because I'm kind of desperate for an area, I'm going to find one, a possible next target, seeing as how we just literally broke another one. But that's is what it is. There we go. We do at least have a zone. So now we're on the day chart. I'm going to go back to my top side, kind of an atypical pair. We already have the top of the chart. We already had it at least. Ta-da. There. So on the day chart, we do see some areas of interest. So I'm going to real quick draw those. I'm going to go by there, kind of 2 points of rejection, kind of close enough to price. Again, this is an atypical pair, so we have to kind of trade it accordingly. We're at a low. All the zones in the world to the top side aren't going to mean anything if it's not moving up, if it's only moving down. So for here, this is what I mean when I say I would draw a box. So kind of got that just somewhere in that area. And since that's technically 1153, it's about a 15 pip zone. I can deal with that. I would draw my box for this. I take it from that point to that point and just draw a little box. So that would kind of be my area that I'm looking for. If again, price is going up, but since price is not going up anytime soon, it doesn't look like. 1 hour time frame, same thing. We are at this zone. It's not pretty. Go down to the 30-minute. We're finally moving sideways, but we have no indication that price is going down or going up. So again, if we break this zone, and I'll got out my annotation. There we go. If we break it, we're looking for the retest. We already know where it's going. If we finally are able to push up, we should expect a very, very, very strong push up. We don't want to try to bet on this zone. This unsafe zone is not nearly a safe bet in a super downtrending market. I'd want to see it kind of make a higher high at least. So a higher high than what we see over here. I'd want to see it break up, retest, and then go, preferably up here. But that's kind of how I would personally be looking at it. And that's legit it. So going to the 4 hour time frame, turning off my annotation. Ta-da. Maybe. Clearly, we are in a downward trending market. Just down, no up, no breath, no nothing. We don't even have like a super awesome trend there either. Not at all.
It's been kind of weird this week, huh?
Well, this is why I kind of backed off of swing trading, as you guys know.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Because all the markets did this. Like if we go back for the last 2.5 months, like this is what happened. We have this downtrend, or here I can make another trend line technically. We had a trend line. Whoopsie, drop it. We broke out. We never really retested to where and we still had upward momentum. Our retest broke through, made a lower low. That's the purpose of having an area like this zone. So Brandon drew it up himself. So you guys saw it. He did it, not me. You guys can do it too. So this zone was marked ahead of time. So we have the breakout. When we came back down to retest, we said if price continues to the upside, we're looking for buys. But we also said if price breaks below, we're looking for it to go back down to here. So even trading that, you would have had a perfect, beautiful trade. when price broke below. I'm going to erase all my ugly drawing here in a minute. But what did you get? You got a tiny pullback before it continued to drop. So this would have given you 2 trades just with what we just taught. We broke out. Here, I'll zoom in to show you. I'll prove it. I promise. Oh, this isn't trading MT4. Kind of a tiny little pullback, but you can see it. Broke out. We stalled here. We broke down, came back up and dropped. We touched it, came back up. That's your retest and dropped. You guys see that? The same thing we just talked about. It's exactly what happened. So I wouldn't play with this for whoever asked. I'm sorry, I don't know your name from the chat, but I wouldn't play with it. You're in a very risky area. So could you follow the trend and take it to another level if we get a breakout? Yes. But every single one of these little pips down is a high risk pip. So price is moving down, your best going off in the same direction, but you're at monthly low or what? Weekly lows? I'll refresh my chart. Weekly lows. I mean, lows that we haven't seen since 2017. That's a lot. You're at a weekly low. And granted, there's an economic reason for that, but I don't want to play with that area personally. So does that answer your question, guys?
I think we're going to fly in the fall.
Yeah. Think we're gonna keep falling?
Well, I hope not.
All right.
But yeah, I hope not. But it's it's all foo-foo now.
I feel ya.
So I'm just riding the wave.
See, look at you. You sound like a California guy now, Derek. Listen to you.
Yes, I know.
All right, awesome. Hey, John, thank you so much for your loving comment. I super appreciate you. And Brandon, come on out. You said you had a quick comment before we get off.
Yeah. So I'm really religious. I don't know if this is gonna offend anybody, but I don't mean to be offensive. But tonight I took off work because like I really wanted to study, and I said a little prayer before I started. You know that I would receive some information to make this clear, and like everything you said tonight has been like literally every single question, and me marking up the charts has really like made this clear, and I'm like really excited to go out here on my own and try it. So I just wanted to say I appreciate you for everything you do, and just thank you.
Thank you. That's so sweet. I super appreciate you. That is awesome. It's great to be answer prayer sometimes. So I hope that it's helpful for you guys. I really do. It is great. So, that's awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Hey, with that said, and that's super amazing. You guys can't top that teary-eyed comment. So I hope you guys all have an awesome night. If you're in the We the People group, we will be live tomorrow morning, probably on time. Looking
Wonderful.
for those trades on NAS and get some rest. Derek, don't stay up for London. Get some rest, okay?
Oh, you're so wrong. I love you anyway.
Thank you, Jenny.
Love you guys. Have a great
Thank you,
night.
Jenny.
Right.
Mayana.